water rates, meeting date change.
Well, I just, and really, if we're going to start doing these things for citizens, I think it does cost money. All right. Back in session. All right, new business, pool committee. I think we all have a list in front of us of.
The pool committee met on, I don't have Ty here.
My name's Colin Cash. I'm one of the owners of Built Right Homes. Built Right Homes has been in business for over a decade. We do 300 to 400 full roofing, siding, gutters, window projects every single year. We've worked on over 2,500 homes in the last 10 years, from neighborhoods after Hurricane Katrina to you name it. We want to get people's homes not just back in shape, but in better condition than they were so they can get back to living their lives. We have a very high standard for quality that we're going for, and we don't want to offer any product that we can't just knock the socks off of our customers, right? We absolutely want to exceed everybody's expectations, and so we only use the absolute best materials that you can get. The best shingles, the best siding, gutters. We want our products to stand the test of time. I would put my company against any other company out there.
Cheat sheet. I didn't print it off. We met. And Jane Brubaker stepped down. She will no longer be a part of the pool committee. I would like to say public thank you to her for everything she did do on the pool committee. But now we're looking for some new pool committee members. I set a sheet in front of you of the current pool committee, along with some names that they had mentioned that they would like to reach out and ask if they would like to be on it. I didn't know if anybody had any other names they'd like to suggest. If we want to keep the pool committee, how council feels about that. So that's what this is.
Well, one of the names on here, Diana Carson, came to me and asked if she could volunteer to be on pool committee. And I think you don't get a lot of people asking to volunteer to do stuff that's public service, basically, you know. We are a small community, we're a small town, we're a friendly town, but when it comes to getting on committees and putting yourself out there, you kind of put yourself out there. So I think that, I believe she should be put on this committee. I know that she's somebody whose kids are at the pool on a very regular basis. She's there, so she sees what's going on. I think she has some ideas about how to make it a better place.
How many is that committee have on it normally?
When I started, it was 5 members, including your committee head. Shantae was on it. I like to be impartial, so I don't want to say I'm necessarily on the committee, but I take some notes and I think
So we need at least 2.
And I will say Jan has not gotten back to me on whether or not she would be a part of it. I just put her name there because she technically is still part of it, but I haven't heard back from her. I don't know if she's still wanting to be a part of it or not. So possibly 30.
As far as the other members on this list, I think we just, who's going to do it and who's not going to do it? Have we had any contact with these people about?
I wanted to talk with council first. I was hoping Ty would be here as the, he's sick. I don't know if there's a max amount of people you can have on the pool committee or if you can have up to 8. I didn't know if anybody would do that.
Here again, putting yourself out there, a lot of these people might not want to volunteer or be on the pool committee, so I say that we have Sarah go down the list and call the people and see who's willing, who's not willing, and if somebody accepts, say, boy, you're it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So, any thoughts, guys?
What about maybe putting it on Facebook that you're looking for people?
Yeah, I think
Because
that
if
would
we
be
don't
good.
Well,
know,
we
we
have,
can't.
yeah, we have,
Yeah, we'll put it on Facebook. Full pool committee, if council would be willing to, extend the due date for these management applications out until the next meeting, so that we can get a full committee put together. I can let you look at the applications now if you'd like to, but I'm asking if we
How
can.
many do you have?
I have two. I have two
Okay.
applications. I have had interest in more people applying
Yeah.
as of today, and they would do, so.
I think we ought to give it some more time.
Okay, does anybody want to see the applications that I have currently, or do we wanna wait?
we'll wait.
Okay.
Should we wait?
Now, did we have a deadline on applications for management? Do we need to extend? Do I need
deadline
to get a
was
motion to
today.
extend the deadline?
The deadline wasn't set in a meeting, so,
So no. No.
no,
The
I'll
time was set
extend it.
arbitrary.
I'm gonna extend it to when the lifeguard applications are due, which is May 4th. So
Perfect.
that'll be before our next meeting, that way you guys can review them,
Good idea.
and pool committee can review them.
There you go.
Thank you.
Storage container agreement, okay, the storage container.
Our current storage container agreement application, it states at the bottom, the permit is granted for 2 years from the date of approval from the Bird City Council. That means, and I put in the packet for you guys all the storage container applications that we have for the city. I have a couple issues with it. One, that it's a renewable application, it has to be every 2 years from the date it was renewed. Not that I'm complaining about work, but I have to go through every month and see if I have storage container applications and see if they need to be renewed. If we want to keep it as a renewable thing, I would like to see it be done annually, once every year, from January to March. You have 3 months to get it turned in, to renew your application. If we don't wanna keep it like this, I would like to see it be treated more like a building permit, where it's a one-time application, you meet the criteria, you get to keep it. And similar with our building permits, if you say you're gonna build a shed and you don't build a shed, then you can be asked to remove it. Things like that. It would still have requirements that you have to meet. Council would still be able to ask somebody to remove it if it's not meeting the requirements. You said you were gonna paint it, never painted it, etc. But that saves the heartache of having to come in and renew it annually when nothing is changing with the structure. But that's just my opinion, so I just wanted to review it and see what council's
I
thoughts on
agree
that
with
was.
that, I don't like the renewal thing. I think it should be a one and done deal, and if it becomes an issue because of the appearance of it, or things growing, or animals getting underneath of it, you know, that's when asking to clean it up, paint it, whatever. And
Now-
get it done or remove it, but I don't really like the renewal, I think it's kind of a pain.
We don't have anything in the code either about storage container applications, it's just the application, so.
I agree with, and it needs to be more like a building permit, cause it needs to have some sort of base. You can't just be setting these things out here on the ground wherever, willy-nilly, wherever you want, and then we become a town of,
Storage containers.
And I like a limit of one per.
Yes, and there is a limit of one per
I'd like to
lot.
keep that, I don't think
Do we have any storage, I heard the word grandfathered in
So,
tonight. Do we have any of these grandfathered in?
there's a few storage containers that were in town before the storage container application discussion, any of that was ever brought up, so
And we have those
Prior
on
to 2020.
record and,
I don't have them. I've just been told. That's why I asked
so
for
it's,
proof.
we're taking people's words for this, or can
I
we?
would hope that we could eventually get all of these storage containers in town under some sort of
Aerial
storage.
pic,
Three oh six East Second, which used to belong to my old partner Dan Swint. He sold it, it's been sold several times, but that garage, the owner of that property now is putting a Clary building on there. It's already done. He needed it moved right away. Because the Clary building people were coming in. So we lifted it up with jacks. It has a cinder block foundation. We moved it 121 feet from that location on a trailer. We turned it around and placed it down in the back of my property. All it's being used for is a one-car single garage. That property was placed on cinder blocks. I've got Grant Schrader. He's been hired to fill in the hole to the south of the garage, and he's gonna put the cinder blocks on the north wall, or excuse me, on the south side of the wall, and fill in the burn pit that was there. It wasn't a problem at the location that it was at. It wasn't tied down at all. Grant Schrader is gonna utilize anchors and tie down. And then if I could have that re-inspected after Grant Schrader has completed the job, and I think he could do that within 30 days.
any questions, any discussion?
So your plan is to fill in the holes, put it on center blocks, anchor it down,
Yes,
good to go.
yes, and
You have somebody contracted to do this work.
Grant Schrader. He's got the dirt, he's got the skills, and I've employed him several times. He's good.
Do I have a motion to readdress this in 30 days, to look at it and see where he says it'll be done? We readdress and check it out in 30 days?
I move we table it for 30 days.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it with the hopes that it can be inspected before the next meeting.
All those in favor?
Who would I contact for inspection? Frank?
Mr.
I'll have Grant talk to him.
You didn't get the opposed yet.
All opposed? Sorry.
Sorry, I just wanna make sure my motion right. We're moving to table this until the next meeting with one inspection before. Is that what
Yes.
we're going with?
Yes.
Just sometime before.
That way it's done, we can move on.
Sounds good to me. Ted, how do you vote?
All right.
Ethan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Lucius, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mike, how do you vote?
Aye.
How do you write a long pause with?
Dot, 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 dot.
Sometimes you gotta think.
Yep.
All right, where are we at here?
I believe,
Storage containers?
The storage containers.
yeah, two storage containers. The first one's on that 318 East Second Street. And
And we can go ahead and do both storage containers at the same time here, guys?
318 East Seventh.
All right,
Okay, I have two storage containers. They're utilized, they're full. I've contacted Alex Towing out of Goodland. He's a hard man to get a hold of, but I did talk to him, today, and he said for $1,000 he could move them out to my farm. So that's a done deal. He said he can do it within the next 3 weeks.
So they will be,
As long as they're gone by the next meeting.
Yep.
That's my beef. As long as they're gone by then, I'm good with it.
I have a question about that. So the storage containers are not the same as the fifth wheel trailers that are parked everywhere?
Give me an example.
So the, like, say, over
Travel trailers.
next to, like, Agner Rosner over there, she's got a bunch of those near sheep in that area. There are fifth wheel trailers just parked, lined up.
They have wheels.
They have wheels under them. Is that why it's different? Because it's transferable, like, super easily? Is that the real problem about the storage container, that it's rubber wheels? I mean, they seem very similar when you're just looking at them.
They
well,
have
I
writing on
mean,
the side and
I,
over.
this sounds like an issue of a complaint. You have a complaint
I don't
about,
have a
We're
complaint.
asking for
I'm
clarification.
trying to
Why?
understand why it's not being applied
Trailers
to
are
all
a
of
separate
those.
section in our code. I would have to look into it to see what it is, but it is a separate section. Our storage containers have a storage container agreement that you have to comply with all the,
Okay, and there's no grandfathering in situation for anything like that either?
so one of his storage containers, he got a permit in 2020 in November. And at that time, it was actually a building permit, and in December, they changed it to a storage container, agreement, which that was all stated in the minutes that building permit was grandfathered into be a storage container permit, valid for 2 years. And so in 2 years, he had to
So,
and that was in 2020 when he
my,
said that he would get rid of it in 2 years. So in 2022,
the
You
reason I'm
forgot?
asking
I
is,
didn't
I know,
reply.
well,
okay, so,
it's not an application process at that point. You said it would only be there for 2 years.
okay. I'm
The
not
minutes of
asking
the
about the
meeting
one at Seventh.
stated,
I'm not asking about the one at Seventh, I'm asking about the one at Second,
do we
which
have,
was there when he bought the house in 1992.
is there
Maybe
proof
just
of it
that-
being there then? Cause I don't have any of that.
Right.
I'm just putting that out there, I'm not sure.
Because there are some grandfathered in. There's few around town that were around before this happened.
We have another question.
I applied for a container at the same time John did, and I thought it was 3 years to reapply, maybe it was 2. But it was just, and I was led to believe that they would approve it if it was painted and all that stuff, but I still didn't wanna be stuck with a 2-year deal, so I didn't go ahead with mine.
And is there some type of like order or rules saying that we're supposed to get like a letter in the mail saying it's time to renew, like?
There's nothing on the actual agreement that states that. It just says to be renewed every 2 years. And I actually don't have anything in our code specifying that you would receive letters. On our agenda, I have down storage container agreements, so I'd like to see some of that change.
So it's a
Currently.
internal issue as well.
Currently, it is at the applicant to come in and get it renewed.
And when Shantae was the clerk, she did, wasn't very aggressive with this.
Okay.
and Sarah pays dearly for the non-aggressive actions of Shantae.
And then this was his original permit, which was a building.
Right, I
permit.
saw a copy of it, I just, the one I was most worried about was, you know,
And
he
I just don't have
inherited
proof
when
of
he bought
when
the
it
property,
got
so,
put on the property, so I would need to know
yeah.
if there's any of
Wait,
it being
yes,
there
but
before
it's one of
2020.
them.
Yes,
So,
Okay,
out to the farm,
Within 30 days.
within 30 days, and
before the next meeting. If we can do something about it, it will be gone before the next meeting.
Right.
do we have a motion for that?
I move that we give John 30 days to get, or until the next meeting to get those shipping containers out to the farm.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed?
Ted, how do you vote? Ethan, how do you vote? Lucius, how do you vote? And Mike, how do you vote? So until the next meeting, which will be May 8th.
Okay.
All right, 309 South Bird Street,
Best Bargains Thrift Store.
Best Bargains Thrift Store. It looks like, we sent a letter, council voted to send a letter,
Well, the next.
so we've got complaints on the sidewalks being blocked, the stuff being on sidewalks. At 309 South Bird Avenue, the Best Bargain Store. We just sent a letter stating, here is the ordinance, that we did get complaints. There's been no citations written, has there? You haven't gotten a citation for?
No. I just got served papers from the sheriff saying, these are your
Well,
problems, you gotta
the
take care of.
sheriff, the getting served papers.
Cause I never
The
received
postal
anything
service, the
in the
postal
mail.
service obviously had issues because they couldn't get you the certified letters that we sent. Because council voted to send a certified letter, so we just had Cody to
Make sure
not
that you
send it.
receive them.
Oh, I received it.
So we just thought it would be easier to have Cody bring those letters to you because the official mail thing didn't happen like it was supposed to, but that's neither here nor there. That's our government, that's,
And that's how it's worded in our code. If it's not deliverable via certified mail, it's to be delivered personal service.
Yes.
okay. So,
Let's talk about it.
I guess let's talk about it.
Okay, for 8 years, I've run the Best Bargains Thrift Store. As I said earlier, I bought it from Carondella Martinez, and after I watched how they ran it, I said I could do better. I started putting stuff out on the sidewalk, which is a draw. It pulls the customer's attention and business into the store. Rubbernecking as they're driving by. Many businesses in big and small towns utilize this all over America. It's the merchandise, advertisement, and their goods. The sidewalk measures 123 inches from outside wall to the painted yellow line. We would like to continue operating as a thrift store. However, the ordinance, your 13-110, is pretty vague in many ways. If it's to be black and white, then to be completely followed, the letter of the law, then you're talking benches, trash cans, planters, the ice machine in front of the grocery store, mailboxes, memorials, flagpoles, tables, chairs, light poles are all in violation and they need to be removed. That would include kids that want to sell lemonade in front of the grocery store. That would include the people selling bread, jewelry, pool committee couldn't set up, sell raffle tickets. The students couldn't sell their baked goods for fundraisers, and the Girl Scouts couldn't sell their cookies. The list is never ending. However, these things are items, people and events that make a small town living so charming and sought after. The guys at work were jealous because I'm in Bird City, Kansas. They would stop me all the time, ask me what's going on in Bird City, Kansas. They could only dream about coming to a small town. I always bragged about Bird City, telling them how nice it was. Small town atmosphere. It's not Denver, it's not Cherry Hills. This is small town America that we want. I'd like the city council to reconsider and revise this ordinance for clarification, and I would like to stay open with the compromise that we would have one row of items up against the wall of the building. And that would still, with our tables there, it would still leave 87 inches, which is more than 6 feet, for pedestrians to walk safely on the sidewalk in front of the thrift store. And that compromise is only for days that I'm gonna be open. It's not gonna be there all the time. But it would be a shame for us to lose that business in small town Bird City. So what I'm asking city to clarify, city and city council and mayor to clarify what's obstructing the sidewalk. If we do it for one, we have to do it for everyone. I think small business is what we need to bring this. And that'd be 11 people in the thrift store that would be out of a job.
Well, part of our issue, Mr. Galea, is that this was brought to us by the citizens of Bird City, a complaint that you were blocking the sidewalk. We got complaints, and that's, as far as the stuff that you're bringing up, the ice machine, the benches, the planters, if you wanna make a complaint, here's the form. During business hours, Sarah, all day long, will take these complaints. During business hours, you can bring that in and present it to Sarah,
I'm not one to complain, all I wanna do is get along.
and
I wanna run a business. I'm not
what I'm
making-
saying is, for this to come to council, for this issue to come to council and for council to send you a letter, it was brought by complaints, and now you're asking us to disregard the complaints that we got?
clarify what blocking a sidewalk is.
Clarify and compromise.
Clarify to those citizens that complained about the block,
Yes.
okay?
If,
I took my tape out and measured stuff today, just to find out how far things are away. If you go to Ty Carmichael's housing over here on the street, he is 7.5 foot off the curb. John is 15 foot off the curb to the building. As far as, and I asked Frank, how far that has to be, and you said at least 5 foot, right?
Right, well, standard sidewalk is 5 foot.
It's 5 foot. Just because there's concrete past that 5 foot up against his building, that makes that other property belong to the leaser. It doesn't belong to the city. So we're having to obstruct, the road that he had out in front by the steps was in the way. It was within that distance. But everything up against that house is farther away than the other things in town that John's talking about. And if we're gonna be fair, we gotta be fair to everybody. We don't pick and choose, we do it just like it's supposed to be done. And when
Well,
he-
I don't think we're picking and choosing in here. Like I said, this was brought by a complaint to us from
do we see the
citizens.
complaint? Do we see the complaint?
I don't have the complaint.
Then you don't have a complaint. Where is the complaint?
It was a verbal complaint made to my
It was supposed to
So
be
it's not
written,
a written
it was
complaint.
supposed to be written by 2 people.
Was it,
Or
was it a
viewed
single,
by-
I'm just wondering if that's just one complaint by one person also.
Out
I
of the
mean,
500 some
we have,
people that live here.
we have,
But what I'm saying is if we go and measure and have a surveyor come in and find out where the sidewalk is, the sidewalk doesn't go to the edge of John's building.
You can't count the curb as a sidewalk.
The curb.
That 2 foot out there, you
It
can't
starts-
count that as a sidewalk.
It starts there. It starts right at the
No,
curb.
it starts up there on the hump towards the building.
No, it doesn't, Mike. Who does the rest of it belong to? If it doesn't belong to the city, it doesn't belong to the thrift store, what does that other 4 or 5 foot belong to?
Belongs to the city.
No, it doesn't. This 4 or 5 foot that is from the curb, cause isn't that where you measure from, Frank, from the curb?
I would go from the step up to the other.
That's what I'm talking about,
Right.
Which
the
is
curb.
what I measured
Where-
today, which was the 123
Second
inches.
step.
Yeah.
The second step, that curb
To
has
the
nothing
building.
to do with where the yellow's at. The step up here from there towards the building, that's city property.
No,
No, it's not city.
it's not city property, it belongs to the thrift store.
All
On their
sidewalks
lease- on their
belong to
lease.
the owner of the building.
was, we measured to that yellow line where the step is where the yellow line is, that's where it's painted. So the yellow line to the building is the 127 or whatever inches, yeah. 30 inches of a folding table or whatever against the building still puts us at 87 inches over, well over 5 feet for pedestrians to walk. Before you even get to the end of the step, it's well over 5 feet.
The stuff around
So
the
the
steps.
property we're talking about is, it's not Mr. Valea's building, it belongs to Century Two,
Century
right?
Two.
It is rental.
Um,
Century Two.
I say that we entertain looking into this, ordinance and how do I
Clarify.
wanna say this, Jake, revising,
How many days a week are you open, John?
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Right now, it's 3 days at the most. Since I moved here almost 6 years ago, it's only been 4 days at the very most.
Very
And
most.
that's during,
And that's usually during the Highway 36 sale.
Yeah, and it might even be a mute point because our, Century Two meets on Wednesday and we have a renewal in June. If they don't wanna renew us, that's fine, we can close that down and it would be okay. I'm not making any money at the thrift store. All I'm doing is supplying some jobs to people in Bird City and getting the poor people some items that are not edible.
but you're also bringing business to this town.
Oh,
People
yeah.
come from all over to come.
I
to
got
this
3
store.
calls or 3 text messages today saying, hey, I need a washer, I need this, I need that. When are you open? It's providing a much needed service to this town.
I think
We've
that-
got 3 retail businesses in Bird City. The grocery store and John's 2 businesses.
Yeah, big
Big
X.
X, Mike,
Who else
yes.
around?
Well, he doesn't do business all day long.
I'd like to put a motion in. I'd like to put a motion in for John to go ahead and have 1 row of merchandise alongside the building.
Up against the wall.
And if the council wishes, we can revisit this ordinance to go into more detail about what it needs to include and not include. And what it needs to cover, especially what is a sidewalk, what is a walking path, what the distance needs to be for that. Because the ordinance is very vague.
I think that's a great idea.
I second it.
Are you gonna continue to, leave stuff out overnight on the days you're open?
Yes.
Only on contiguous days.
Continuous days, which is Thursday night, Friday night.
And then it goes,
Saturday
it
is
gets
back
put
in.
away on
Only
Saturday.
in Bird City, Kansas could you probably do that because any other city, everything will be stolen. And that's
We've
the,
actually had people leave money between the door because they have taken something.
Can we table this for Can we table this to
Well, we have,
go for the revisions?
we have a motion and a second to allow John to put 1 row along the building of merchandise, what I'm gonna call it, and then to move forward to the next meeting to define the specs of the sidewalk in the code. I believe at that point, it's only
This 1 row, so 1 table, what size table are we talking about? Because
it's a
Are you gonna
30-inch
get-
table.
30 inches wide, away from the building.
And
1
that's
row
one of those
30 inches wide,
tables.
is that okay, Lucius?
Yep, that should leave enough for the cars to pull up the curb, and that should
Ted?
leave enough of a walking path left there.
I've got a motion and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Ted, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ethan, how do you vote?
Nay.
Lucius, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mike, how do you vote?
Nay.
John, you are our tiebreaker.
Seeing that we're going to revise this ordinance, I vote aye. Motion carries. obstructing
When you go
sidewalks.
back it again and about the obstruction, we need to cover ourselves for the stuff that is out there already.
You're talking benches.
Benches,
Trash
planters.
cans.
When we revisit, yes,
Yeah, when we
because
go back at it, we need to include those things.
I agree, there needs to be some clarification.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
That was everything under your section. Do you have anything else? I will get you a nice written letter of all the dates and everything, so that you're.
I better not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you much.
all right.
The last one.
426 West Fifth Street cleanup.
So this was the Merklin property over on Fifth Street. I got a call from Peggy Merklin. She is one of the owners of the property. They are wanting to get it cleaned up. However, she stated that her and her husband are too old and they don't have any family that could come clean it up. She asked if the city would be able to clean it up for her, and we send her a bill. I wanted to give her a few options. I know that that's pretty expensive to get done. It's $150 an hour for the first hour per employee, and then $100 an hour per employee after that. So I wanted to give her a couple different options, either the city doing it, her finding a local, I'm gonna call it a landscaper, somebody that could come and clean up the property, because she wants to sell it. She's looking into realtor options to get the house on the market. So that's the information I got from her today.
The house, that's the trailer.
Yes,
Okay.
with the blue trim. We,
I know it's,
and they're wanting
What's
to
your
sell.
raccoon?
it's been there for years, when I lived down there.
I thought we condemned the house already on the last meeting.
Last meeting, there was a motion to give them 30 days to make progress on, property cleanup, and then at this meeting, you guys were gonna discuss the structure. I just wanted to give you the update that I got, that they are wanting to get the property cleaned up, with local help, and that they're wanting to sell the property, currently.
They wanna pay for, she
Yes, they're gonna
specifically
pay
said,
for it.
they're gonna pay for the cleanup.
We aren't really equipped to do that.
I know.
You got your house moving equipment, Frank?
Well, I think she's wanting to sell the
We'll just
property
hook it on
with
the
the
back
house
of your
still.
pickup.
John's got a trailer, he can move houses with.
And if you ask them to match,
I think they wanna
Maybe
do
the new
past
city
the
truck
house.
is not my pickup.
So are we looking to give him a timeline?
That's up to you guys. I'm assuming they're setting a timeline on how much time you would give them to get the property sold. I don't think they're wanting to demo the structure. They're wanting to sell it as is.
So what's
But
a
to-
realistic timeline? Something like that. By the time
She
you do all that.
called today, right?
Yes, that was this morning.
I'm gonna say in your normal senses, right, you're talking probably 30 to 60 days for somebody to list it, buy it, and maybe close on it, but,
Well, they have a neighbor that's willing to buy it as soon as they put a price on it.
okay.
I got a couple neighbors.
Yeah, don't forget everybody that lives on the street.
Yeah.
Get home away from home?
A bunch of vultures that live down there.
You wanna just go ahead and open up the auction now?
So,
I think her goal was to get it up to, because we sent her a property cleanup letter, to get her property cleaned up so that she can sell it.
sure.
And she made the call, she called today, so the last day of,
Yes.
the last possible minute she called, and
Was this
How
the
long
one
do
that
we
we
wanna-
didn't have the right address for?
Yes, so the, owner of the property was a Wilbur Harold Merklin. He has passed. I sent him letters. Well, he cannot receive them. He's not alive. So then I sent them to Peggy Merklin. I'd have to go look at my certified mail to tell you what day that got sent. Maybe no longer than 15 days ago. They only have 15 days to pick it up. So that was after Wilbur's got returned to me. So I'd say 2 weeks that she's had it.
So,
I for sure don't wanna give them more than 30 days to get it cleaned up.
Yeah, and like I said, she will not be the one doing it. She's gonna have to hire this out.
does I agree on the cleanup, but do we do something like 60 and then it's cleaned up and sold by day 60 or not?
Can,
I think you run the risk of them just selling it.
I don't know.
Problem is the house is junk.
Yeah.
I think she's wanting to sell it so she doesn't have to deal with the house and to pass it on to the next.
That's the thing.
Then we'll have to revisit this conversation under new ownership.
She could still sell it.
I think that it will be cleaned up if we can get to that point.
Maybe the neighborhood association will pick it.
I would like to think that they would honor their.
What are you thinking? What do we do?
The HOA?
And then readdress it in 30 days after they have 30 days.
Yeah, you could give them their 30 days to clean up.
Give them 30 days to clean up and readdress it in our next meeting
Okay.
and see what goes from there.
Cause if nothing, I would say just, if nothing happens, right, there's no movement, if we're still on the phone list, on the 29th day, I would suggest probably go ahead and fire up and start doing your unfit structure process. Cause then even after you do that, and you set the hearing date, just like what we did, you know, yeah, you then can give her time.
Okay.
But you're at least down the line through the process of if it's still sitting there like this 3 months from now, then you go forward with doing the demo.
I agree.
You said it.
So I'll make a motion.
I've got a motion, do I have a second?
A second.
Ethan seconds, all those in favor?
Alright.
Opposed?
Ted, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ethan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Lucius, how do you vote? Mike, how do you vote?
Alright.
Alright, well, I think, at this point, we need to take a short break, a short recess.
I
Well,
thought we were gonna power through.
you're the one who triggered my bladder. When you went running, I said, my bladder said, whoa, hold on.
How long is that break for? It's 8:32.
Let's do a 10-minute break. Okay.
Oh, 42.
We only have one hole, right?
Move fast.
Couple of trees outside.
I was gonna say,
Pushes out
back door.
backwards.
Have you not paid attention to the news over the last 30 days? How many people have been in trouble for things? Just be careful.